All right, today we're going to be talking about section 6.4, percent of a number. So this is kind of like the times when we go to the store and you see like a price tag and it says $50. But then there's like another sticker over it, like this. I guess we wouldn't see that part of the sticker. I should have covered that part up first. And it says 60% off. Yay! So the question is, what's the price? And we are going to be investigating these kind of problems throughout this chapter. And we're going to be learning a couple of different ways to do it, actually. And the first way that we're going to learn, I want you to use on this section. But there probably are other ways that you know how to do this. But I want you to practice this first way just so that we can get everything working and understand how it all works. So how this works is, what this is really saying is 60% off of $50. So that means I'm going to take 60% away. So the actual price that I'm going to be paying is 40% of $50, because 100 minus 60 is 40. And this is the money that I'm not paying. So 40% that's left is the money that I will pay. So I have 40% of $50. Now, the question is, how do I get to that amount? And the way that we're going to be using in this section is called fraction multiplication. So I can rewrite this pretty easily. And I can say 40% into a fraction. Well, I know how to do that. It's 40 over 100, because that's how I can always turn any percent right to how it was before. And I can write $50, or 50 as a fraction as well. And that I just write as 50 wholes, or 50 filled in circles. And I'm just going to turn that of into a multiplication. And now I can solve this just like I would normally, as a multiplication problem. Now, one of the things that I want to do before I do any fraction multiplication is it's important to simplify first. Because if I simplify now, that means I won't have to later, and it saves me a whole bunch of work and a whole bunch of steps. So I can divide this by, I'm going to divide this by 10 to give me 4/10 times 50 wholes. Now, this is going to be much easier for me to work with. Okay, recall that when I fraction multiply, I just multiply my numerators to get 200. 4 times 50, I should be able to do that in my head. And 10 times 1, I certainly should be able to do that in my head. Now I have 200 tenths. Well, I'm going to simplify that just like I always do whenever I'm working with fractions. And it's going to give me 20 wholes, or 20. And if I get my units back that I was using earlier in the problem, that means my final price is going to be $20. So 60% off of $50 is going to yield me $20. Now, notice this 60% off is not what I'm always going to see. Often I'll see 40% of something. And in that case, I'm not going to reverse it like I did with the price tag. Let's take another example. This time, we're going to simplify it. We're not going to be thinking about it in terms of price. We're just going to be taking a percent of a number. And the reason I'm doing that is because the homework is exclusively, which means only, taking percents of numbers. And it's just practicing this fraction, this fraction multiplication. Okay, this one is going to say, find 85% of 20. All right. So in this case, I'm not going to be switching my 85% to a 15 because I want to find 85% of 20 to kind of start it off. So let's turn this into a fraction multiplication. And these are the steps that I want to see on your work. 85 over 100 times 20 over 1. Before I do any multiplication, which I could do now if I wanted, but 85 times 20 is going to give me a number that's going to be very hard to simplify. Let's see if we can find something that is going to be very helpful to simplify this down. Well, this one is simplified simply because I know that 1 is the minimum that I can get. But this one, I can definitely see that 5 can fit into both. And 85 divided by 5 is going to give me 17, and 100 divided by 5 is going to be 20. So now I have 17 twentieths times 20 firsts. Now, something is kind of cool in this step that I can do that I can't often do. But whenever I'm multiplying fractions, I can really think of both of these as the numerator and both of these as the denominator, kind of together. Because I could really write this like this: 17 times 20 over 20 times 1. It's really the same thing. That line can go all the way across. And if I think of it like this, with the line all the way across, well, I can just simplify this out by having 20 divided by 20 giving me 1. So I can just end up with 17 wholes. And it's going to give me that as my answer. And it's going to give me right down to 17, which is very, very nice and convenient and easy for me. Because whenever I see something like this, I can simplify them out as long as I'm using my algebra rules. I can't ever break those rules, but if I use them, it often saves me a lot of work. If you feel like you get it, then go ahead and try the homework. I'm going to do 2 more examples if you would like to stick around and see how more of these go. Okay, we're going to do 25% of 80. All right, let's rewrite them like we would normally. 25 over 100 times 80 over 1. All right, 25 100th, that's like quarters. I can divide both of these by 25. And that's going to give me 1/4 times 80 wholes, which is going to be very easy to simplify because I have 80 over 4. And 80 divided by 4 is going to give me 20. Not too bad, and I do want to see these steps. We're going to do one final example to finish off section 6.4. Example 3. And let's look at 22% of 100. Of 100. Okay, just like we did before, we're going to say 22 100ths times 100 over 1. Now, there's going to be something that's going to scream out to me as soon as I see this set up. Now, I could divide both of these by 2, but look, I have 100 on my numerator, and I have 100 in my denominator. And if I divide them by each other, I'm going to get that into 1, and it's going to simplify into 22 wholes, or 22. Which, that means I'm done, which is really, really nice and very convenient. I hope that makes sense, and go ahead and good luck.